So what I'm going to talk about is, what happens? You know, let me show you these, like a couple things, and then I'll tell you how it all happens, okay? Let me type this in. Here we go. Okay, so thanks a lot. So how does this happen? How did I get this? Why did somebody send me this? Why did I get to do a kooky piece of music to this? Okay, let's start about how all this does happen. Okay, let's just talk a little bit about the business of advertising. You're a corporation. You're Volkswagen. We have a lovely new product we want to sell. We're going to go to a bunch of different ad agencies. A lot of you may know this stuff, and some of you may know nothing about it, and that's why I'm telling you. We're going to go to a lot of different advertising agencies who are in the business of making advertising for products. Okay? And we're going to see who's going to give us the best deal, who impresses us with their creative vision. And we're going to give them a huge amount of money to make our advertisements for us. Okay, so Volkswagen decided on this advertising company. Okay, we'll call them, I don't know, I don't know who did it, BBD&O. Okay, so BBD&O gets this account. Then they give this to their creative team. There are writers, there are directors, there are music supervisors. They are all having meetings about what direction are we going to take this product in, okay? Once they've decided on a few different ideas, they're going to go to Volkswagen and say, here are our presentations. Sometimes those presentations will be very, very involved. This could be a presentation, something that they do just as an idea to show this company. That is because there are hundreds of millions of dollars riding on this, so they want it to look good. So what does that mean to someone who's doing music? Okay, well, they've got to hire a director. Okay, they've got to hire a production company who's going to get the lighting guys and the gaffers and whatever the hell those people do. And then they've got to get someone to do the sound mixing so that the dialogue is at the right level and all those things. And then they've got to hire somebody, and it's usually the last they think of, to do the music. Okay? Now, in some cases they have big budgets. In some cases they have small budgets. Okay? There's a lot of different scenarios that happen. There are three main ones that I am coming across when it reaches my point. Okay? Usually what they do is they go to a music house. Okay? It's called a music house, a commercial music house, a jingle house. They go to this house. There are staff composers and writers and songwriters at this music house, okay? Sometimes freelance people are hired, okay, to write these things. So you don't have to be on staff at a music house if you are somehow connected to someone who works at one, or if you are a go-getter and you're passing your music around. You could be hired by this music house to say, okay, so they're going to come at this Volkswagen spot. They're going to have more than one music house pitching music for this. And they may also have records that they like that they just want to stick on there. And so they're going to see about how much that's going to cost them to have, you know, Beyonce's song on their commercial or somebody else, right? So there are three types of jobs, right? So there's the what I would say is which is the optimum industry standard, which is I can't read my own thing. Okay, so these are union jobs, right? So what that means is There's a creative fee from the ad agency's budget that goes to the composers or the music house, okay, which then gets divided up between the music house and the composer. You following me? Okay, this is a creative fee. If it's a union job, Procter & Gamble is a company that is so large and so on the radar, they have to do union commercials. There are basically two unions that get used, okay? One is in New York, it's called Local 802. It's the musicians union, okay? Payments are made, if your commercial is the lucky one that gets on the air, payments are made through, if you played music on it, through the musicians union. If you sing on a union commercial, you are considered an off-camera actor. You are paid like an off-camera actor. This is a union commercial only. So that means you will make the residuals similarly to the way like a voiceover person does or the actor in a commercial every time that commercial plays. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's the basic gist. Okay? This is why a lot of people want to be in advertising music. It can be very lucrative. Okay? Now, there's another scenario, the less favored but still worth doing, which is called a buyout. Okay? So they come to you and they say, all right, well, we only have this much budget, and it's going to be international, and we can't pay union on it, blah, 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 and we have, you know, $5,000 for the winning composer. Okay? There's a third one, which is called licensing, which I'm sure you've heard of. That is, say there's an existing piece of music that you've written for your album, for someone else's album, and they want to use that for the commercial. They come to you and say, how much will it cost us to use your piece of music for this period of time for this commercial? 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 100 years. How much is it going to cost? Okay, so those are three main scenarios, okay? That's all well and good. That's the business side. Let's talk about the creative side, okay? All right, what's going on there? Right? What's going on there? Acoustic bass, okay? Acoustic bass. Not real acoustic bass. Acoustic bass on Trillion, which I'm sure a lot of you know. I'm sure a lot of you use Trillion, okay? What's the next thing you heard? Da, 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 da. That's my guitar figure. That's my 1964 SG tuned to a G tuning, playing a riff. They wanted something. They played me a piece that sounded like some New Orleans stuff to me. That's often what they will do. They will come to you and they'll say, we want it to sound like this, or we want it to sound close to this. We want you to rip off Kanye exactly without getting sued. These things will happen, okay? So that's how that works. Okay, so you heard that, right? So now, what's that? That's me with distortion on the vocal, okay? Why am I trying to put my vocal on there? Because I don't have a budget to hire a singer who's better, and with the possibility that it may be a union spot and I could make some money. Drums, again, stylus or something like that. But this sounds like an old record, right? Why? Because I mixed this myself. I mixed it to sound like an old record. I thought about, hey, I can't have it sounding all slick. They played me this record from New Orleans from 1949, okay? You know, I've got to think conceptually about what they want, right? This is not about what a genius artist I am. This is work for hire, okay? Now, I have also had the situation happen where songs from my albums were used in commercials or television shows where they didn't want anything changed on it, and that feels great too. That's really good. This is about paying rent. This is about using your skills and your conceptualizations to pay your rent. You need to put yourself in the shoes. These people don't care if you are a genius. They are people who have cushy jobs that need their problem solved. You are a problem solver. That's what you are. They say, well, I really, really, really want it to sound like La Coca Nostra. I've never heard that before in an ad agency meeting, but I really want it to sound like that. That's your job. You want to get it as close to that as you can. Do you consider yourself an artist? Do you consider yourself that beneath you? Don't go into advertising. That's not what it's about. It's about using compositional skills, engineering skills, production skills, and doing it as quickly as you can to make some bread. And it's a good thing. Okay, I'm going to play you one other project here. Now, this one is for Toomey, and I'll let you watch it. Oh, you can't see this. Get the idea. I have no idea how to stop it. Is this it? I don't know. It's only another 10 minutes. Just let it run out. No. Okay. So this is long form, right? This is a commercial for the web. Okay? Toomey hired a designer, a world-famous designer named Drawer. This guy designs houses, chairs, suitcase. He designs anything that can be designed. He's a genius, okay? So how this job came about is I know a director named Erez Sabag. Erez, he was a photographer. How did I meet Erez? Erez was a photographer on an album shoot that I did probably about 7 or 8 years ago. He moved on from photography and became a director. So this job came to me directly from the director of the spot. Also another way to get this type of work, right? So Erez is great to work with. Why is Erez great to work with? Because what he does is he loves music. He's here the reason that we're all here. He loves music. So he makes me a playlist with 30 songs on it for every job I do. And he says, listen to this playlist. So I sit there. He's an artist. I sit there and I listen to this. We talk a little bit about the music, but we don't talk much. He gets me the vibe. Then he sends me the first cut. I start scoring it. He says, I love this, I love that, don't use that. Then maybe the second cut, we're getting closer. Third, fourth. So this will go back and forth 4 times. He's editing, I'm writing the music alongside of his editing. Okay, this is the process. Okay, in the end, once he's done that, he has to go to Toomey, or the ad agency who was doing Toomey, I can't remember, and get their approval. They may have some changes. They may say, well, we only like the first 10 seconds of the music. We only like, the middle. We like everything except the part where the dog throws up. Change the music there. You just don't know, but you have to be willing and ready and able to change this stuff. Sometimes my deadlines are insane. I get a call at 4 in the afternoon. Well, we need to play it for the client at 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, what kind of thing is it? Well, it's an orchestral piece mixed with hip-hop and so you get crazy things, right? Also, this is an important point that I wanted to make. The reason I brought up Erez is because relationships for you especially with other creatives, are the most important thing you have, okay? Erez trusts me because I'm another creative. I'm not a guy who's sitting somewhere who has a budget that has to watch over and doesn't really care as long as the job gets done on time. We're creatives. We work together within a corporate structure to make money. Okay? So your relationships now that you make with people, these are the relationships that are going to be the most important. I hadn't seen a Rez in 4 years. I show up at my son's new school one day and our kids are in the same class. 6 months later, I'm working on this. Okay? So, and the other thing I want you to remember is that if you want to work in advertising, it's about volume. It's about how much music can you write. My suggestion is what I call the Sean Pelton rule. Does anyone know who Sean Pelton is? Great. Sean Pelton is the busiest drummer in New York City. He's the Saturday Night Live drummer. You've seen him. You would recognize him. He wears this cap. You know who he is, but you don't know who he is, okay? Sean moved to New York. What he did was he took every gig that came across his way, no matter how much or how little it paid, for 2 years. He played 2 and 3 gigs sometimes a night, okay? Now, at a certain point, he started to get very popular, and he could start to demand more money and make himself a really good living, and now he's one of the most in-demand session drummers, you know, in the world, much less New York City. Now, the reason I'm saying that, what does that have to do with this or the price of eggs in China? What it has to do with is you can do exactly the same thing. If you want to do this type of work, okay, it's out there. It's student films. It's independent films. It's television. It's advertising. Visual media. They all need music. So much of the problem is budgets, but if you're just starting out, this is not about budgets. This is for you experience and building a reel, something to show people. And once you can show someone something, then you, just like Sean, you will become in demand for your specific set of skills. Okay? So I think that's about it. No, that's really it. And thank you so much. I know I was very jumbled, but I hope that you got something out of it, and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much.